Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Penguin Live TV. My name is Heather, and I'm a ranger here at Phillip Island Nature Park, the Penguin Parade. Tonight, we're watching the smallest penguin in the world make its way home from the ocean across the beach to their homes, their burrows on land. I'm also joined by Michael, my fellow ranger here, who is going to help me with the live stream tonight. Michael, I think we're just going to have a quick weather report.
Yep. Thanks for the introduction. So tonight we've got a mild temperature of about 16 degrees with a northerly wind, which should be great for viewing the rafts tonight. We had about 942 penguins last night coming in, and they started their journey up the beach at about 6:35. They might be a little later tonight due to the skies being a little clearer. So yeah, we just apologise for our lateness. We just had a few technical hitches, but yeah, we're looking forward to seeing a lot of penguins tonight, hopefully over 1,000.
So, folks, we're here on Phillip Island in Victoria, Australia, home to the biggest penguin colony of little penguins in the world. The island is also known by Malau, a name given by the traditional custodians of this land, the Barong people. And I would like to pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. And if you know your First Nations people where you're joining tonight, let us know on the texts. So we're just looking out onto the beach here. Firstly, I forgot to say Happy Father's Day to everyone. It's been a beautiful day here on Phillip Island today, and hopefully we'll see lots of penguins coming ashore tonight.
A heap of seagulls out there.
Yeah, I see that. There is a. When I walked into work tonight, there was a lot of seagulls in the sky. So maybe they've gone out, and it probably means there's a lot of fish out there. So last night, I think, as Michael mentioned, there were 942 penguins. So let's see if we can break that 942 tonight. Just what I'm talking about. Phillip Island Nature Parks, we do an amazing amount of work here on Phillip Island. We manage 20% of the island. We clean the beaches. Michael's just said there's some rafts out in the water. So if you look out, yes, you can see that black line in the water, folks. That's a raft of penguins. So what they're doing is they're waiting for it to be dark enough. Oh, that's a fantastic example of a raft. You don't always see that. It's quite calm out there tonight. So that's fantastic. So a group of penguins in the water is called a raft, and that's because that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a raft in the water. So what they're doing is they're grouping together in groups called rafts, and they're waiting for it to be dark enough. And they're waiting for that darkness because crossing the beach is the scariest part of the day for these little birds. They're exposed once they leave the water, and out in the water they're really camouflaged with their blue feathers. That is, you don't always see those rafts. That's fantastic viewing tonight. So they're going to make their dangerous dash across the beach. But they won't do that until they feel really safe. And the reason for that, folks, is because the overhead birds of prey, our little penguins are very smart. They know that once the sun goes down, that these birds of prey can no longer hunt because they hunt with their eyes, and they're sleeping in the trees. So what we're going to be viewing tonight, folks, is the smallest penguin in the world, the only penguin with blue feathers. They are approximately 33 centimetres tall or 12 inches, and they weigh approximately a kilo. So our viewing tonight is going to be fantastic because the breeding season has started here at Phillip Island, so that means there will be a lot of penguins coming ashore to relieve their partner sitting on the eggs, or they may be bringing some fish back to the chicks because we've had a few chicks in the burrows in our study sites here on Summerlands Beach. So get ready to see them come up to shore. They're not quite there yet, but if you do have questions, folks, please put them in our live stream. We can't get to all the questions every night, but we will have rangers during the day tomorrow answering your questions. And we love hearing where you're from, and we love your questions. I think I mentioned last night, for those viewers that were viewing last night, that penguins make people happy. They are amazing little birds. And as cute as they look, they're very resilient birds. These little birds spend 80% of their life out in the water. And out in the water, folks, they're quite solitary birds. They're following the fish. As I said, they weigh approximately a kilo, and they want to eat around about 400 grams of fish a day. So that's a lot of fish for our little penguins. So what they're doing is they're out in the water following the fish, and they're quite buoyant birds. So they kind of float on the top of the water, so they don't use a lot of energy, and then they're diving down for the fish. And our researchers here at Nature Parks have found some amazing facts about diving of these little birds. With depth recorders, we've recorded the longest dive, and that was 74 metres. And that penguin held its breath for 1 minute and 56 seconds. So let's just call it 2 minutes. Is that some penguins? Yes, folks, here we are. They've arrived. Fantastic. Now, see them, how they're looking around. They're really quite scared. As I said, crossing this beach, and it is a bit of a low tide tonight. They're going to make their dangerous dash across the beach. Now, let's see tonight whether they continue or whether they're going to be scared by running back into the water. Every night it's different here. Every night there's different penguins coming ashore. So it looks like they're pretty keen to get home tonight. It looks like they're not going to run back into the water, but, you know, I don't like predicting what penguins do. When they reach these rocks, folks, they will be a little bit more calmer because they know they're going to be camouflaged when they go over those blue basalt rocks. So you can see them walking across the rocks. Let's see if they slow down a bit. No, they're committed now. They're gonna make their dangerous dash across the beach. Let's see. Yeah, they're definitely not going to turn back. See how they're looking at each other. They're turning around. They're very scared. So once they leave these rocks, they're going to be dashing across the sand. And as I mentioned last night, there's almost an invisible line on this sand where they're committed not to go back. And not only are they committed not to go back, but it's like then they start really, really running. So let's see if we can get to that invisible line. Here they go. So yeah, see how they're looking from side to side. It's really scary for them. The last few nights we've had Pacific gulls down here, which is one of the penguin predators. So they'll be looking out to see if those Pacific gulls are still here. This is a pretty large group, folks. So every night here on Summerlands Beach, there are 2 rangers that count the penguins, and tonight I think it's Andy and Sally are counting the penguins, and they count them for 50 minutes. So here we go. They're behind those bushes, and they're gonna come to the rocks here, and we call these rocks, well, Jordan does, the salon, and they may stop here and they may start preening themselves. But as I said, every night it's different. They might be really keen just to keep on going back to their burrows. Some of the burrows are 1.5 kilometres inland. Some of the burrows are really like where those bushes are there. I know there's a burrow under the ground there. So where they're arriving here at the parade is the Penguins Plus stand, and when we can have our visitors back, this is a great place to watch these penguins because, folks, this is how close you are to them. And this is the most popular track where the penguins come up each night. So it looks like they're not all going to wait and preen themselves. They're going to make their way up the hill. And maybe we'll go onto the highway and have a look and see if they're going to come past. Okay, so what we're looking at here is what I call highway number 1, and this is the most popular path for penguins at the parade here. And see the glass windows there, folks. So they are the underground viewing windows. So when you come back, you can buy a ticket to the underground viewing windows, and you're going to be looking at these penguins. Here they come past at eye level. So you can imagine you're in there and you're looking at them at eye level. Now watch them as they come along this highway. See how they're looking. Their heads are going side to side. So they're looking for landmarks to know where to turn into their street. So we don't know what those landmarks are. But they do. So, as I said, some of them are going to be walking 1.5 kilometres, and that's every time they come ashore. So, most penguins, when they return, are going to go to within 30 metres of where they were born. No GPS, no Google Maps. So how amazing are these little birds? And see how some are more upright and see how some are quite fat. So that's, the fattest penguin in the colony is the most popular. That means they're very good at fishing. Some of these penguins have a lot of fish in their belly, carrying it back to chicks, and some we'll head back to the beach now and see if there's more coming ashore. Or we might just have a look at some preening behaviour. Oh yeah, see that? If we can zoom in on that penguin, you can see that there's a penguin that's pecking at the sand there. So that is a female penguin, folks, and maybe she's preening, maybe she's not pecking. We'll observe her for a few minutes and have a look what she's doing. If she is pecking at the ground, what she's doing is, we call them shell gritters, and what she's doing is she's eating sand and shell grit for calcium and minerals for the eggs that she's forming in her belly. Okay, little penguin, are you preening or are you? Yes, look at that preening behaviour. You can see how she's stretching her neck round to realign her feathers. When they've left the water, they always have to have waterproof feathers, our little penguins, and they've gone from one environment to another. So they do like to rearrange their feathers. Oh yeah, there's quite a few more in the salon now. We'll just click onto the highway quickly and have a look at if we can get those penguins shooting past. So see how they're looking around. Shall we wait for the next slide? What do you think? Maybe we'll go back to the beach, to the rocks, and have a look there. Yeah, maybe there is another raft coming in. So I know on the camera, folks, that it looks quite light, but it is quite dark, and we do have lights on the beach, but they're an orange spectrum lights, which are the really kindest to the penguin's eyes. They don't see it as a bright light. So just to explain about the lights there on the beach. Yeah, so when you're looking out here, that is the Penguins Plus stand where you can be sitting watching the penguins. And if you can see, we may follow a group up the hill if we can see some heading up there, but they're not going to cooperate just yet. Yeah, we'll just have a look what's happening here. Yeah, so there. Oh, bit of penguin yoga. See that flippers out? So, Michael, do you have a question while we just watch these 3 penguins here, see what they're up to? Maybe you've got a question.
So we get a lot of questions coming in asking if we watch the penguins in the morning, or if we'll have a viewing in the morning ever. So you might like to give the audience a rundown of what happens in the morning and how these penguins take their journey back to the ocean.
Sure, Michael. So in the morning, it's not as intense as what we're watching coming from the ocean. In the morning, it's more dribbly and drabbly, like it's a longer event. So you wouldn't be seeing a lot of penguins like along the highway. So that they tend to go out in the morning much slower. So that's the reason we don't view them in the morning, because it's not the same viewing. And there was another question about how far the chicks go. So the little chicks in the first year of their life can travel further than their parents, and they can go all the way to the South Australian coast. And they return about 1 year, and they will return to within 30 metres of where they were born. And they start breeding from 2 to 3 years, folks. Oh, okay, we're going to have another dangerous dash across the beach. Let's follow this group of penguins. So they're going to stop on the rocks, or they're going to scoot across. Yeah, they're just going to move over those rocks. Also, folks, every night and every season, the beach changes here, and if you keep watching, you'll see that. So the tides, they bring sand in, then they pull sand out. High tides, the penguins are right up on the shore, and they just kind of surf in.
So we'll get another couple of questions if you'd
Sure.
like.
Yeah.
So one question is how far do the chicks go when they first leave their burrows?
So I just did that.
Oh, sorry.
One. That's okay.
Anyway, we've got another one about
Yep.
sharks. People always ask about the penguins and sharks and if they're a threat to the penguins in the water.
It's a great question about sharks, because I have noticed on our feed that there's a lot of questions about sharks. So this peninsula here at the end is the knobbies. So the penguins come up both sides of this peninsula. We just observe them on the beach here at Summerlands. But at the end of the knobbies is Seal Rocks, and out there, folks, there are 30,000 long-nosed fur seals. So if you're a shark, do you want to eat a little penguin, or would you like to have a big, fat, juicy seal? So we don't have a lot of evidence that sharks eat penguins because there's abundance of big, fat, juicy seals out there. Just would like to let you know that if you would like to donate to the Penguin Foundation, there is a link at the left-hand side, bottom of the screen. Our Penguin Foundation funds the Wildlife Hospital, it funds research and conservation here on Phillip Island. You can also adopt a penguin. So that's the Penguin Foundation. Do amazing work with it. So what's these guys got? Oh, maybe shell gritter. Let's have a look. Is it a shell gritter, or is it just one of the neighbours? Pleased to see. Oh, maybe they're partners, or maybe they're sneaky lovers. Who knows? Our penguins are quite promiscuous. Some of them mate for life, but a lot don't. And it's the male that actually owns the burrow, and he invites a female to be his partner. And if they get divorced, the female has to find herself another partner. So let's have a look at what this penguin's doing, because he's going the other way. No, he's just going to have a nice preen. Oh, yoga, got those flippers out, rearranging their feathers. Sometimes folks, they preen each other because with their little beaks, they can't get round the back of their heads. So they get their neighbour to preen them, and that it's really great to look at because it's like they're embracing. So we'll just switch over to the highway. I thought there might be some penguins coming up here. We'll just stay on this for a minute, and they're coming round the bend, folks. Well timed. Yeah, here they come. Yeah, as I said, watch them looking out. You know, they're looking for their street. So imagine, you know, like you live off a major road, and we all know the street we live in. We know where to go, and these penguins are the same. Well, there's one looking through the window there, looking for people, our visitors. Where I would like to say that we're looking forward to having our visitors back here. It's not the same place without visitors, I can assure you. So when it's safe to do so, we're really looking forward to having you back. In the meantime, watch the live streaming. It's, you know, as I said, penguins make people happy. It's they're just amazing birds. Oh, look at that one. That one was very fast. And see, that one's gone off on his track. So we'll go back to the beach. See what's happening. So, folks, we have 5 minutes to go in our streaming. And before we go, I would just like to tell you about the natural beauty of Phillip Island. When it's safe to do so, we want to welcome you back to our island, which is an amazing, beautiful island. We have beautiful beaches. We have amazing walking tracks. It is a wildlife island here. You know, I'm driving to work and I often have to stop for a wallaby crossing the road or a Cape Barren goose. There are lots of, oh, look at this, another group coming ashore. There's lots of wildlife here and natural beauty. And just a reminder again about our Penguin Foundation that does amazing work and helps us fund our wildlife hospital research. And research and education is the key to making this colony safe and expanding. You know, back in the mid 80s, this colony was declining. So we've done a lot of work by buying back a whole housing estate here on Summerlands Peninsula to make this penguin colony safe and increase. And since we did that, I think it was 1985 when we started that, the colony has actually doubled. There are 32,000 penguins in this colony. So let's have a last look at these guys here. Well, we might shoot to the highway because I know people love the highway.
So I've got a couple of questions.
Sure.
By Angelica's mum.
Yeah.
She's just wondering how much they eat a day.
Wow, depends how much, you know, it depends how good they are at fishing. As I said, these little birds weigh 1 kilo and they want to eat around about 400 or 450 grams of fish a day. And remember, you know, some of them are carrying fish partly digested in their stomach back to regurgitate to their chicks at the moment. So that, you know, this time of year they really need to be good at fishing because they not only have to feed themselves, they have to feed their chicks. So Michael and I would like to say good night now, and sorry we had a few technical issues tonight. Please join us tomorrow night and watch these amazing birds come ashore. We're loving all the comments. We're loving showing you our amazing little penguins. Stay safe and we'll see you again soon.
Good night.
Good night.